What is up? What is up? Let's get everybody in here. All right. Let's get everyone in here. How are we doing today, guys? Let's see. Coming to you live on this beautiful Tuesday. I'm going to allow some more people to get up in here. Let's see. Get everybody in here. What is up, party people? Y'all are filing in now. Hold on. Get everybody in here. Get this out of here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Got some crazy stuff today, guys. How's everybody's Tuesday starting off? I see we got Christina in here. I see we got Mariah. Mariah, I'm doing great. It is a beautiful day out here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I really can't complain. Henry's in here. Miss Ness, Jesse. Get people in. We are going to be starting in just a moment, guys. Roland's in here. Sam just joined us. How's everybody's week going so far? Anything crazy happen? Anything absolutely amazing happen? As always, guys, we've been having some really great referral partnerships happening. I'm going to say it every single time. We need to be reaching out to each other, especially as we're in a PCS season or a PCS cycle, right? We got military members coming and going to different duty stations. We need to tap in. We need to see who is where our clients are going. We need to make that connection. And then, you'd be surprised what type of revenue stream referrals are. Just staying busy, Mariah. I know that's right. Hey, that's all we can do. All right, give it a couple more minutes and we're going to get started, guys. Today is kind of going to be the part two to the tools that should be illegal to know about. This is more so on the AI side of things. What's up, Joseph? How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good.
Yes, sir. How's your week starting off?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I'm going to keep it short as much as possible. But I'm working with AI, and I'm trying to build my military referral network.
Yes, sir.
And it's a little slow, to be honest with you. I'm building this thing out, and it's taking me some time to build it out. Okay.
Well, let's talk about it afterwards. If you have some time, maybe sometime this week, I'd love to help out and kind of, give you some pointers, because it's crazy what people are doing with AI nowadays, guys. All right. Give it one more minute. Get people in here. Get y'all nice and settled in. I see everybody's note takers are in here. One thing I want to say, guys, is everything we will be going over today will be included in the description of the YouTube when we upload it. Okay, that's going to include this presentation and also the little tidbit things we're going to be building today. All right. Cool. Make sure y'all can see everything. Go here. All right, let's do it, guys. Well, without further ado, all right, today we're going to be talking about the AI toolkit for agents who work like a team of 10. All right. Last week we were talking about, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about being a team leader and having a team, whether it be a full staff of admins, but there are solo assassins out there that are getting the job done at a high level and at massive scale. And AI will allow them to scale even further. If not just take a lot of back end things off of their plate, what we're going to be going over today is maybe some things that actually changes how they do business as a whole. All right. So we're going to be talking about 8 AI tools, each with a job. Use them together, and a solo agent produces using them together, and a solo agent produces the marketing, research, content, and back office output of a full team for about the price of a tank of gas per tool per month. All right, we're going to be going over different pricing tiers for some of these options as well. We're going to be going a little bit more granular on some of them so we can actually understand the cost and what they're best for. Okay. Per second here. I wish there was a way just to automatically allow everybody to come in. All right. All right, before we start, ground rules, okay? These apply to every single tool we're going to be talking about today, guys. As we know already, AI is a powerful tool. It can be a powerful assistant, but it is not a substitute for human interaction. It is not a substitute for your license, your common sense, your judgments, or ethics, right? Run every output through these 5 checks before it leaves your hands. Okay, the beautiful thing about a lot of these AI models right now, you're allowed to give them context before they even start a project. And what I mean by that is setting out a guideline or a set of rules, right? And, one of the biggest things when I'm doing marketing with some of my AI is I make sure to make it a very strong point that they need to recognize and understand all of the fair housing rules, right? And we need to make sure we don't violate anything there. Okay. When we're talking about fair housing, we need to describe the property when we're talking about marketing. Okay. Never the ideal buyer. It can get really tricky as we start kind of muddying up that waters. Okay. Make sure you scan any type of copy that you're creating for protected class or steering type language. Okay. That's a big one. It can be very easy just to throw in some details and say, make me the best listing description possible. And then it may come up with this lovely story, very beautiful. It could narrate a whole lifestyle on this property, but it could very well cause a lot of fair housing issues, right, guys? Okay. So I see a lot of people using AI nowadays for their photos, especially when we're talking about virtual staging, when we're talking about, maybe some twilight photos outside, or maybe what you could do with the backyard. The biggest thing is AI visuals are concept, brand, and lifestyle only. They're not to add, hide, or alter real features. Label them. All right. Another big thing that just got pushed out through EXP is there's new language and new guidelines around the way we handle AI as agents. I recommend everybody check those out. We'll probably end up posting them inside the group just for everybody to review, right? They're talking about having to disclose when we're actually using AI on our photos and things like that. So definitely some good information you want to brush up on. Okay. Another thing we want to be paying attention to is we want to protect the client's personal information. We don't want to be including anything like social security numbers, not that you should, but if you're doing like maybe some back end stuff, maybe, you have a mortgage branch, maybe things like that. You don't want to have information like social security numbers, financials, or private client data in these public AI tools. You have the option of redacting. It doesn't mean you can't use a whole, document or a whole list of resources because it has client information on it. It just means that you need to redact it and make sure it does not get entered into that system. Excuse me, guys, I apologize. So this on. Do not disturb. Okay. Here we go. All right. Not legal or financial advice. That's another big thing too, guys. If you put your documents inside of ChatGPT or Claude or anything like that, make sure that you're reviewing what it spits out, because we are not lawyers. We do not have, well, some of you may be, but most of us, a majority of us are not lawyers, right? And we are not financial advisors per se, right? So AI doc summaries are starting point. They verify against the real document and a licensed pro, right? Use this for trying to consolidate information, maybe try to save some time, but don't use this as the end all be all when it comes to financial advice or legal documents. And as always, with us being agents, we already know this last rule, always fact check. That comes with anything in our industry. Any of the disclosures, any of the representations of a property, we always need to be fact checking things. And that does not stop when we're talking about our tools and our AI. Okay. So what we're going to be going over today, the toolkit, who does what, what's best for what, how much is what, those type of questions. So we're going to be going over ChatGPT. We're going to be talking about Perplexity. We're going to be talking about Midjourney, We're going to be talking about 11 Labs, Opus Clip, Higgsfield, OpenClaw, and Claude, right? So you probably heard of at least ChatGPT. Okay, some of you have heard of majority of these programs or services. Okay, let me ask y'all, is anybody in here using more than one of these tools right now currently? Sam, talk to me. Which ones are you using right now, brother? Okay. Feel free to drop in the chat which ones.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to get my microphone working.
No, you're good.
No, I meant to say yes. I use more than one of those tools.
Which ones do you use?
Claude, ChatGPT. I bounce to stuff. It just depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have ChatGPT kind of tied into my email as well as my text messages and phone call transcripts and my CRM, and it'll spit me out a morning report just in case. It'll flag like if I have conversations while I'm driving. It'll flag any tasks, like if I say I'm going to do something, just so I don't forget. So I can't take notes in that moment. So it'll flag that, and it'll send me in the morning report everything that was discussed there.
Yeah, especially having that nice summary in the morning. Cassandra, I see your hands raised. How many of these are you using?
I use Claude, Chat, Gemini.
Yeah.
Little
everything.
I have like, I think like I registered for so many of them, and because I do videos as well as everything else that I need.
Okay, cool. A few of these like Opus Clip and Higgsfield, really great for videos. I'm sure you may have heard of 11 Labs for the voice. I see Mario uses Claude, ChatGPT, Higgsfield. So a lot of people have heard of Claude. A lot of people have heard of ChatGPT. So we're going to be diving in some more secular ones. Some tools here are going to be more focused to a certain job or a certain kind of task that you want to get done. So first one, we're going to talk about ChatGPT, right? So ChatGPT is talked about in extensive conversations here recently. Like everybody's talking about ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT is probably the beaten dead horse at this point, right? So this could be your everyday writing and admin assistant. This is a free to start AI chat bot from OpenAI. The AI, that's the name of the company, OpenAI. You talk in plain English like texting a very knowledgeable assistant. You type a request or what they call a prompt. So you ask it to do something and it writes, summarizes, brainstorms, or answers in seconds in a browser at chatgpt.com, or you can have the mobile app on your phone. So you could do it desktop or you could have it on your phone, right? Why should an agent care? It gives a solo or new agent an on-demand marketing admin writing assistant for pennies on the dollar, cutting hours on doing some of those back-end tasks, right? So some field uses, you can write listing descriptions, right? Social captions. You can build you a social calendar, really create organization about how you're going to start posting. You can create objection handling scripts, based on the day-to-day things that you're running into. You can also create follow-up and drip emails so you can kind of start making some of those smart plans and those long-term nurture plans. You could also import some data from your MLS using, you can export it through PDF and then upload it to ChatGPT, and then you can get market summaries, right? You can get checklists for your transactions. You can get it nice and visually done. So it's nice and beautiful to look at. It makes you actually want to fill it out. So with ChatGPT, some of the most common mistakes we see though is people not fact checking what it outputs, right? They just trust it immediately. AI, once again, not the end all be all. It states wrong prices sometimes. It states wrong law sometimes, and confidently at that. Sometimes you have to fact check it and then it'll even tell you, oh yeah, I was wrong. Verify the information before publishing it, guys. Make sure you're checking that fair housing language because it may, steer a protected class. If you give it a lazy prompt, if you're not specific in what you're asking it, it really is what you put in it is what you get out. Okay. So if you're lazy in what you ask for, it's going to give you a lazy or incomplete product or result. All right. So with the price tiers, they have a free version of ChatGPT. It's not the best. I promise you, I would not recommend really using the free unless you're in a crunch. They do have other more affordable pricing models, like you don't have to get the pro. You can go plus. Plus is what most people get, which is $20 a month. It allows you to do projects, allows you to have the deep research to actually get real granular with the AI models that kind of compute the information. At the bottom of every one of these slides, there are training videos, guys. So that's why I said I was going to include them. You know, you can go through here and see these are clickable links that will pop up and take you videos that will help you kind of understand, you know, the program itself. Some of them are real estate specific. Some of them are just beginner tutorials for you to understand the lay of the land in these programs. Okay. The next one is Perplexity, right? Perplexity was talked about a lot in the beginning. I haven't heard too much chatter around Perplexity, but one thing I have heard is this is a really great deep research model. Okay. So this model right here, Perplexity, it's an AI answer machine, a research assistant that searches the live web and answers in plain English, right? So not legal jargon, not convoluted answers that are hard to understand, you know, with numbered clickable citations. Instead of 10 blue click links, it reads the sources and summarizes them, pulling them from the current web so facts stay up to date. Why should you care? It lets a brand new agent sound like a seasoned local expert in minutes with cited current market and neighborhood data you can trust and defend in front of clients. Okay, gives you the sources to back it up, right? Field uses, market research, competitive pricing analysis. I personally haven't used Perplexity in depth, but I have talked to several agents that have been able to run a framework to create CMAs that are pretty darn accurate inside of Perplexity because they're able to do such deep research. Okay, you can create relocation and PCS guides for military relocating buyers. You know, you can grab school and amenity data, parks, anything, restaurants. You can look at new regulations. Maybe there's some assessments coming to the neighborhood. They're starting to put sidewalks in, you know, and that just got filed. You might be able to bring that information in using Perplexity. Okay. Here we see the price tiers are very similar to ChatGPT. You know, most of the time, these models, their pro version or price tier is about $20 a month. Okay. And I implore you guys, it is well worth the $20. Okay. Common mistakes people use or have when they use Perplexity, using it as a creative writer. It's mainly for research. Okay. You can draft copy in ChatGPT and Claude for marketing, but Perplexity is really to do some nice, granular, deep research. Okay. Another mistake is people don't click the source and confirm that it's current and local, especially if you're doing some local deep dives, making sure that what it's pulling in, the information, is actually reliable. Remember, guys, it's not a silver bullet. It'll save you so much time, but we got to make sure that it's actually giving us the right things to work with. Okay. Now we have some training videos at the bottom right here. How to use Perplexity AI as a real estate business, Perplexity AI tutorial for beginners, and the complete Perplexity tutorial, basically showing you the ropes for this one. Now, Midjourney. I've had a lot of fun in Midjourney. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is for AI images and marketing visuals. Okay. Midjourney was like one of the biggest, or one of the first kind of bigger platforms to create the AI images in a consistent result, right? Actually, things you can use that don't look crazy. I remember when AI first really came out, what was it like? I think it was Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it just looked absolutely ridiculous. And now it's starting to, like, I seen someone post Will Smith eating spaghetti, and he shaved off the Parmesan on it, you know, cracked a little black pepper on it, and it looked like him. It looked like darn near they just shot it. Okay. So the AI imaging and the videos are starting to get a lot better, a lot less corny. So why should you care? They produce professional looking marketing visuals in minutes for a few dollars instead of hiring a designer or buying stock, fast, affordable brand building on a tight budget, right? So it allows you to kind of build your brand in a way that doesn't make you have to bring in multiple other people. You know, you can usually get these results quick, fast, and easy, and it's very cost effective. Okay. Now, the pricing tiers are a little bit different here than some of the other models. Okay. You'll see that the basic is $10 a month, but you get about 200 images. Right? It allows you to learn the tool. So the standard is about $30 a month. And now this allows you to actually crank out some, you know, actual images and videos and things like that without having to get stopped by, because usually with these models, you'll have limits, right? It'll allow you to create a decent bit of marketing material without always getting hit with these thresholds. Okay. Few more training videos down there below. 11 Labs. All right. 11 Labs is scary, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. So 11 Labs is an AI voice and voiceover tool. Okay. So let's say you're doing, video walkthroughs. Let's say you're doing neighborhood tours and you want to do them at scale. You can use 11 Labs to create basically this copy of you. And it sounds pretty good. It's getting better and better, guys. So it turns typed text into natural human sounding speech. You can paste a script, pick from hundreds of realistic voices. You can even download a pro audio voice of yourself and it'll copy it. Okay. So why should you care? Studio quality audio for videos, ads, and phone systems without equipment, a studio, or being comfortable on the mic. Okay. It's more content. It's faster, right? You can use this for property toy voiceovers, like we mentioned, podcasts and long form audio. You can use it for your voicemail if you wanted to, guys, right? Ryan said 11 Labs is creepy, but HeyGen scares me the most. Okay. Side note, HeyGen is very scary. Okay. HeyGen basically copies your actual avatar, you, and makes a video. So 11 Labs is more so for voice and voiceover. HeyGen copies you. Okay. And that is scary because in the beginning, when they were first starting to make progress with it, it was very robotic, right? And now it's starting to it's a little weird. Okay. A little too futuristic, if you ask me. All right. So with this one, you can also do a multilingual voiceovers. This is really great when you're talking about batch making content on the fly. Okay. Common mistakes people make with this tool: robotic default settings. You can kind of, edit the stability, the style of the voice so it sounds a little bit more realistic. Okay. So once again, if you're just expecting to run with what comes out of the box when you use these tools, you're going to get, very rudimentary results. The more you put into it, the more you get out. Okay. So sometimes people make the scripts too long. Okay. And it's just runoff. And after a while, it's going to sound a little crazy. Some of the mannerisms in the voice are going to sound a little bit too similar and it's going to start sounding robotic if you try to use this for very long forms of content. Okay. And then sometimes you can choose the wrong tone. Right? It just doesn't match with what the video actually is or what the message you're trying to convey, right? So the pricing tiers for this one, $6 a month for starter, $11 a month for creator, and then they do have a pro for $99, and then they have a scale. Cassandra says, I use HeyGen and Sora for video posts. How do you like HeyGen? Is it working really well for you? Yeah. Heck yeah.
You just have to make sure you prompt it correctly. That's all.
And that's what it is with a lot of these tools, right? You just got to, prompting, guys, is going to become a skill in itself with AI becoming more and more used. Okay. I don't think it's going to, heck, man, guys, in 20, 30 years, it may not even be what it's how well you can ask for things or ask to access information, how well you can prompt. It's crazy when you really think about it. Moving to the next one, though. Okay, since we're talking about creating video and creating content and things like that, let's talk about Opus Clip. Opus Clip is something I use personally, especially when we're talking about these masterminds. We can take these long forms of content and we can clip it. It clips it for you. And what it does is it analyzes the video and it tries to take the most viral moments, or it tries to take the moments where you're saying the most hook-worthy statements, and it allows it, and it basically makes the whole video for you. It's great. Okay. You can take 1 hour long video and I think the last mastermind I put in, it was like an hour and 10 minutes and it gave me 34 pieces of content. Okay. Obviously you want to view them all, make sure they all have the correct context, make sure they all are, properly, divided or what do you mean? I'll go over that right at the end. I promise you. Okay. So when you're using Opus Clip and you put that long form piece of content in and it cuts it up, just make sure you're reviewing it. Make sure it's seamless. It makes sense. Another cool thing about Opus Clip is it'll put the subtitles on there for you. So now you're taking a long form piece of content, you're chopping it up into reel length, REEL, like Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, or YouTube Shorts length, which is usually about, I'd say nowadays, about 60 to 180 seconds. So you're chopping a long form into these small bite-sized pieces that have subtitles already. You can change the font, the effect of the subtitles to make it more interactive, more engaging. That's very powerful, especially if you're doing podcasts, especially if you're doing any type of long form content, neighborhood tours, the whole nine. Okay. So right here, it takes one long video and automatically chops it up into short vertical clips for Reels, Shorts, TikTok with animated auto captions, auto reframe, and a virality score. So it gives you tips and tricks on how to make sure it really stands out when you post it, okay? You can upload footage, get post-ready clips in minutes, all right? Short form video is the fastest way to build local presence, all right? It's showing more and more and more, okay? But editing, that back end, it eats time. You know, everybody wants to do content, nobody wants to edit it. That's the truth. Okay, Opus Clip turns one recording into a week of caption, platform-ready clips, no editor required. Okay, so common mistakes: not proofreading captions. All right, not checking the reframe, because what it'll do is, you know, let's say I have two people in a shot and we're doing a podcast. It'll cut it in such a way that if like rezooms on my face when I'm talking, sometimes it'll zoom on the other person's face when it's talking. It'll show the full frame sometimes. So like it uses AI to reframe and keeps it fresh and engaging. So it's not just one perspective. That's a whole nother set of editing thing that you would have had to do inside that project that's taken off your hands. But make sure that that reframe is correct. Make sure that it's actually going to the head and not like halfway cut off or something like that. Because you can just edit it. All you gotta do is double click it and you can move the frame and then boom, now your face is in there, okay? And then over trusting that virality score. So once again, we're using AI. It is taking what it has done, its research on the algorithms of these platforms, and that is what it's giving its opinion on. Based on this video and on my research, I believe it has a virality score of this, right? I believe it will hit the algorithm well because of this. That's the type of information it gives you on each one of those videos that it chops up, okay? Now, the pricing tiers. With Opus Clip, it's more so of a token kind of deal, right? You buy a certain amount of tokens, right? And then each video, I think like every minute is, I think 10 tokens, right? So for free, you can do up to 60 minutes a month for free, but it is watermarked. It says Opus Clip at the bottom. That's a very good, you know, introductory to get into it and kind of see how it works and, you know, the kind of the workflow when it produces the content for you. And then they have a starter, which is about $15 a month. It's no watermark. It doesn't give you many credits. I would recommend getting the Pro, $30 a month. You know, it gives you AI B-roll. So that means when you're talking, sometimes it'll cut into, let's say we're talking about first-time home buyers. We're talking. It'll cut into that clip of, you know, the generic stock video of maybe someone handing someone some keys, or someone opening the door. That's called B-roll, just the random videos that people insert inside their content, right? It'll add that for you. So that's a whole nother resource and a whole nother layer of your content that's being created inside this one program, right? If you're somebody that wants to get into making content or is already making long form video and you feel like you're not utilizing the short form of that, Opus Clip is your answer. It is so in depth, okay, guys? I got some training videos right there in the bottom right-hand corner that'll be accessible to everybody, okay? Then we're gonna talk about Higgsfield. Higgsfield is really good when we're talking about cinematic AI video and photo to motion. So, you know, taking several different photos and telling it to make a video out of it, things like that, right? So Higgsfield is a little bit, I wouldn't say newer, but it's gaining a lot more popularity as its models are becoming a lot cleaner and the video is becoming higher quality, right, guys? It's a creative suite. Let me get these guys in here real quick. It's a cool creative suite for short cinematic video. All right. Its signature strength is image to video, right? With pro camera motion. We're talking about taking your listing photos and creating a video out of them, guys. Okay, this is a really strong tool for things like that. Let's say you don't want to go out and spend the hundreds of dollars on maybe getting somebody to do an interior drone or do an interior video of the property. Using Higgsfield can allow you to create nice, decent little property tours with just the photos themselves, okay? Why an agent should care. Turns ordinary listing photos into scroll-stopping cinematic videos in minutes. No film crew, drone, editing experience, or premium brand at near zero production cost, okay? Common mistakes we see with this is people misrepresenting the listing. All right. You don't need to over glamorize it. You don't need to sit there. I would recommend if you're adding photos to create that video walkthrough, do not use your AI video AI photos. Use the actual photos from the photographer. Let's use source photos. We don't want anything to be any type of misrepresentation. Okay, guys. And then also burning credits. So Higgsfield, it does generate video. These video generating AI programs, they typically are more demanding when it comes time to like, or talking about like consuming credits or, you know, whatever the program's currency is at the time, right? So long way to say that they can be a little bit more expensive, and it's a lot easier to burn through those credits or those tokens when you're learning it, right? Because each time you make a change, it's going to redo that whole video and it's going to burn through your credits. Okay, so there is kind of a learning curve. We did add the training videos down there. I would definitely say dive into those training videos and try to get a decent grasp, so you don't just start burning through tokens or burning through money. You know what I'm saying? All right, OpenClaw. Now, OpenClaw had been hitting, like I've seen it all over the place on Facebook a couple months ago. It was gaining popularity in the sense that people were buying separate, like little Mac computers. They were setting up OpenClaw program on there, and it was allowing, basically OpenClaw will control your whole computer. You can ask it to do something and it'll take complete control of your computer, and it'll browse, it'll access documents, it'll make, you know, Excels, it'll basically do whatever you want it to within the means that your computer can do, right? So people would take a small little cheap iMac, doesn't even need to have a screen, and then they would be able to route it to be able to control it from their phone. And then now it's working and texting them updates, and, you know, just texted Johnny and Susie about the appraisal, and it was giving you updates. It is absolutely just gnarly. Okay, I've added some of those videos in there at the bottom right. I definitely want you to check those out, guys. Okay, it's a free open source personal AI software that you run on your own computer or server that connects an AI model to your tools like email, calendar, messaging, browser, files. Unlike a chat bot, it actually does things. Okay, this thing reads your emails, right? If you want to get really organized in your emails, OpenClaw can help you do that. Right? If you want to get it really labeled out, you know, really organized so you can find deals or find, you know, certain contacts really quickly, OpenClaw. Okay? It sends messages, like text messages. You can link it up to an SMS service to send text messages on your behalf and truly act like a real assistant. Okay? It'll fill forms. It runs multi-step tasks. I've seen someone use OpenClaw to completely put in a listing in their MLS, and all they did was provide them the information. It took that information, went through, gave them the Google Drive link and everything, went through, put all the listing information, uploaded the photos, smacked it, done, and then sent off a just listed photo on Facebook, all through OpenClaw, all done by saying, do it, here's the info. Okay, so this one right here is very powerful, but it does have some caveats. Okay, so why would you care about this program in particular, right? So agents, guys, we know we drown in repetitive admin back in work. That's why we have TCs. That's why we end up, you know, some of our first hires for team leaders or admin personnel. Okay. OpenClaw absorbs a big chunk of that workload, to be completely honest with you. Okay. And it plugs into tools you already use. It'll plug into Follow Boss. It'll plug into KV Core, Bull Trail, whatever it's called now, Lofty. You know what I'm saying? All of those. This is a little bit more advanced, a little bit more technical, guys. Okay. It has a function on there called suggest, don't act, because once again, it's AI. It's going to come up with its own results. But if you do not have this setting basically selected, it'll act on your behalf. It'll do things. It'll make purchases. It'll send emails, right? Suggest. It's a suggest what the next step be, and then you can say execute, right? Or else I've seen cases where, you know, people have bought things on Amazon on accident because OpenClaw thought they needed it. Right, so it is a very powerful tool, but sometimes a little too powerful, especially when we're talking about on the privacy side of things. Okay. Common mistakes we see with this program is too much autonomy way too soon. Okay. Keep it suggest, don't act. When you actually get frameworks and processes in place, then you can start allowing it to act without your input. Okay. People ignore the security aspect of this. Okay. Make sure that, you know, if you're a little bit more techie, right, your API keys or just personal information as a whole, make sure it stays away from this specific computer, okay? Because it's gonna have access to all that information, right? Treat it as a plug and play tool. I wouldn't do that because this is a steep learning curve, okay? OpenClaw can do a lot of things for you guys, but this is definitely one of the more advanced and technical programs, okay? It is free, the software itself, but when we're talking about, you know, really getting it set up, you can end up having monthly costs that can go for the AI usage between $50 and $60 a month. You know, when we're hosting things like actually creating web domains and stuff like that, you know, anywhere between $10 to $50 a month, right? Training videos down there in the bottom right-hand corner. I highly recommend you guys look at it. It is powerful. if you're not the most techie, you know, there are people you can reach out to set up systems for you. But I implore you to at least understand or know about it, right? Because it is a very powerful tool. All right. Some of the things it can do, screenless CRM updates. All right. So you can text it, move them to nurture, or hey, you know, if you use Follow Up Boss, we just went under contract, add the contract details to the deal tab, right? It can schedule showings inside of showing time. It can follow up with your leads for you. Don't recommend it, but it can. Right. And then, like I said, inbox triage. It can read, sort, suggest actions, give you daily updates on what you have based off your calendar, your email, text messages, whole nine. All right. The last one we're going to be talking about before we get into some actual use cases is Claude. Now, not gonna lie, I'm a little partial to Claude. I absolutely love the frameworks inside of it, the ability to do things. Like I love their artifacts. I love to be able, I'm not gonna lie, I code a little bit inside or vibe code inside of Claude. It is just such a powerful tool that allows you to do pretty much anything you want as long as you can kind of ask it the right questions. Okay. Claude is an AI assistant from the company named Anthropic. All right, you chat with it in plain English at Claude.ai, or it does have an app. It has a desktop app. It does have a phone app. We're going to be talking about those a little bit more. I have said there are projects from Business with Claude. Yes, ma'am. All right, so it writes, summarizes, analyzes documents, and builds things like a very capable assistant who answers in seconds, right? You don't need much technical skill for this one. One thing I'll say is about what it creates is so visually appealing. I don't think that ChatGPT actually can compete when we're talking about creating PDFs, creating HTML and things like that. Claude is just, it's a different quality. And you're going to see when we dive into some of these use cases, because some of these use cases, not going to lie to you, they're things that you do on day to day. Some are a little bit more quirky and fun, just to show you some of the capabilities that Claude can do out the box, asking for things. Okay. So we can do listing copy, marketing, and things like that. You can do long document analysis. You can draft emails and negotiations, and you can pretty much do that anywhere, right? You can use the content and repurpose it for client education. And that's one of the big use cases we're going to be talking about on the next couple of slides, okay? So when we're talking about Claude versus ChatGPT, where Claude shines is it's natural, right? Very natural, especially in how it responds to you, okay? ChatGPT can be all over the place sometimes. Claude is a little bit more organized, and especially I am very fond of the fact that Claude is transparent about what it's doing. When you're running tasks in there, it tells you exactly what it's doing at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's no like, what's going on? What is taking this thing so long? It's been 10 minutes. I haven't seen anything. It's giving you a step-by-step on every file it's reviewing, every website, every document, you know, anything. Okay. So you can get a real-time update of what's happening while it's working for you. Okay. So the honest framing around both of these two, they're both excellent. They both have their use cases. You know, me personally, when we're talking about the overlap between ChatGPT and Claude, I feel like it's more worth it just to go with Claude personally. Both can be used for different cases though, okay? Claude is especially strong for writing and reading long documents. There's pros to keep both, okay? Now, in Claude, there are projects, all right? And what is a project? A project is a dedicated workspace that keeps related chats and reference material together. So this is what I was talking about, guys, by being able to give context, right? You can upload a Word document of do's and don'ts, right? Do this, do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this. If you have any questions, then do this, right? Anything that you need, it's like handing a task to an assistant, right? And giving them an outline or a framework. That's what that is, okay? You're giving it reference material instead of re-explaining every single time you ask for something, okay? It remembers your background and applies it to every chat inside that project, okay? So project knowledge, you can upload your listing template, your bio, your brand voice, your brand colors, your logos, right? Area stats, you know, your dreams, aspirations, year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals. It'll take all that into consideration when it starts to, give you answers and outputs. You can also give it project instructions. Tell Claude how to behave. My RE marketing assistant, you know, act as a pro marketing genius. You know, act warm and professional. Make sure you do not violate any fair housing rules on any email. Sign Kaleb, eXp Realty. You can edit that, change it up, add a little spice to it, however you like, guys. Okay. And then right there next to it, it tells you how to create a project inside of it, right? Create one step by step. You either go to the Claude.ai, you pull up the app, right? Right on the left-hand side, new project, you enter the project name and description, and that is now basically a folder for you to upload documents, project knowledge, any context you want to give, and then you can start creating those chats in there. And now anytime you ask a question, you tell it to do something, it is using that context to create that output for you, okay? What is an artifact? Artifact is basically like a little widget, a little tool that you can create inside of Claude. Think of mortgage calculators. Think of, you know, anything. Matter of fact, I can show you, but I can tell you. Just wait. All right. So an artifact is a document, web page, chart, or flyer Claude builds in a separate side panel next to your chat. Instead of, you know, when you're asking Claude for something, instead of you having to like scroll all the way back up for all of the results or the end product of what you're trying to have, you know, when you're doing an artifact, it pulls it up on the side panel so you can see what's being changed and edited in real time. Okay. The chat is the discussion. The artifact, quote unquote, is the finished thing, product, website that you're building right beside it so you can refine it live. Okay. We're talking about, you know, listing descriptions. We're talking about property flyers and listing landing pages. We're going to be creating one here in a moment. All right. First time home buyer guys that are truly like serving a specific neighborhood or a specific niche. Okay. Neighborhood comparison charts. You can get that data from your MLS, put it in there and actually show very beautifully the differences between neighborhoods or zip codes or school districts. Okay. How to use it. You just ask for it, right? A lot of the time people get hung up or get paralysis analysis with AI because they don't know where to start. They don't know what they can do. The biggest thing is, guys, just ask. I promise you, it'll tell you what it can do and it can tell you what it can't do. Most of the times it'll tell you how to get around, you know, some of the current limitations so you can make it work. Is it Claude that can now connect to Canva? Yes, it is. I think ChatGPT can as well though, but yeah, Claude has something called its design and marketing panel now. It pulls up and like, we'll have to have a whole nother class on that. It's absolutely crazy. And it keeps your branding and your content consistent. Talking about SOPs, any documents, buyer consults, like it generates all of that stuff, slideshows, Excel's very, very consistent. We'll have to dive into that, okay? So there's another feature of Claude called Cowork, okay? And Claude Cowork is, you know, it's usually only function or usable when you have the Claude app on your desktop, on your actual computer, okay? And what this allows it to do is access your files, access your information inside the computer, allows it to do things, you know, you can say, create a Word document and save it in this folder on the desktop. You know, you can start to give it, you know, more in-depth tasks. You can start to give it more responsibilities inside of your computer itself. Claude Cowork is a Claude's get real work done mode, okay? Quote unquote. A chat that answers questions. Oh, okay, I apologize. A normal chat answers questions. Can't talk today, guys. Cowork actually does multiple step jobs for you. All right, guys, that's what I'm trying to say. It reads and organizes the files. It researches the topic end to end, drafts a batch of emails. It can build reports using tools connected to your apps, your desktop, the whole nine. And then it hands you back the finished files. Okay, that's what I was trying to spit out. It can run in the cloud or it can run on your computer and it keeps working even if you close the app or step away. That's the powerful part. Okay, so it's always working depending on what you have in it. Okay, you can point it at a folder of disclosures and have it summarize each one, right? You can assemble a listing packet or a week of social posts, right? And then have it saved in a certain folder so you know exactly where to access it. Okay, it makes a lot of those back end things a lot easier and a lot more executable or easier to execute. Okay, why it matters here is Cowork is the home of the next two features we're going to be talking about: dispatch and scheduled tasks. Okay, what is dispatch? So dispatch is newer. They just released it not too long ago. Claude Dispatch is a feature of Claude Cowork. It lets you assign tasks from your phone and have them run on your desktop computer. So now, like we were saying, Cowork is usually done through the app on the desktop. Now you can control it from your phone. So now you don't even have to be by your computer, right? It lets you assign tasks from your phone and have them run on your desktop computer inside one continuous conversation that syncs across phone and desktop, right? You can kick off work anywhere, right? You can wake up late one day and then say, all right, we need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm running late, and it'll start jumping on these things for you, okay? You can come back to the finished results. Make sure you review them, but it will have things for you. Okay. Example, between showings, you text Claude from your phone, pull the 3 disclosure PDFs in my closings folder, summarize the deadlines and red flags for each, draft a client email for the Maple Street deal. Your desktop, the Claude app inside your desktop, it does the work, right? The brief, the draft email are waiting for you when you check your phone, right? So now you're going to be able to control those things remotely. That's an awesome feature that just dropped not too recently. All right, and now this is a way for you guys to set up a daily morning brief, okay? Because who doesn't want to wake up with exactly what you're supposed to be doing every single day? Okay, so when we post this, you'll have access. Feel free to screenshot this now. You know, very easy way to go ahead and start working on this. You can kind of tweak it and refine it as you actually put it into place, right? And guys, one thing I want to give y'all a tip on when we're talking about prompting is never hesitate to tell whatever program you're using to ask you questions, right? I think that's the biggest thing when you're prompting, right? When you're telling it to do something, at the end, I usually always say, ask me relevant questions, because it's going to review everything I asked it to do. It's going to point out anything that might not make sense, anything that might not be possible. It might need some clarifying answers, or it may bring up something that I didn't even think about, right? There's been so many times, because right now we're building a back-end transaction coordination management software. And, you know, when I tell it to ask me questions, there's so many times where it asks me a question. I didn't even think about that scenario, or I didn't even think about how we were going to get to this point, right? So it knows more than it probably should. And especially when you start to tell it what you're trying to do, it's going to bring up relevant scenarios and relevant questions that are going to help you build it overall, right? So this daily morning brief, right? The native way is schedule tasks in Claude Cowork, right? In Claude Cowork, click scheduled on the sidebar on the left-hand side, click new tasks, choose create with Claude, or you can set it up manually, and then paste this prompt right here and set approval mode, right? You can set the frequency to days, weekdays, daily, whatever it may be. You can pick the time, right? And then you save it. That prompt right there on the right-hand side, guys, every day or weekday at 7 a.m., give me my real estate morning brief. New leads or unanswered clients emails needing follow-up today. Today's showings and appointments from my calendar. 3 to 5 local market, mortgage rate headlines from or Fayetteville, North Carolina, in my case. My top 3 priorities for the day. Keep it short and scannable, right? So now every single morning at 7 a.m., you're getting this debrief. I'm gonna tell you right now, people pay assistants, God knows how much money, just for this right here. Just to know what they're supposed to be doing every single day. Like that's crazy. And now it's at your fingertips. Don't get me wrong, it's a little setup, guys. But I would implore you, hell, if you don't even know what to do, go inside Claude and say, how do I do this? And it'll tell you. Okay. Pricings, mistakes, and got a little bit of training videos for Claude itself. So the free tier, like I said, most of these programs do have a free tier. I don't necessarily recommend them. You're going to get burnt out pretty quickly. The pro tier is $20 a month. The max tier is $100. If you're really doing some big projects and you're really trying to create something, I would say go max for maybe one or 2 months. It's a little bit more expensive. You're going to get so much out of it. You're going to get a lot more completed. And then you can go back to the 20 a month, or go back to the free if you've already completed what you actually need. Okay. Common mistakes, right? Not using projects, using this like ChatGPT, where you're creating a new chat every single time and you're not organizing your thoughts and organizing your processes, right? The fact that we have these projects and are allowed to give context, this is what greases the machine, guys. This is what makes all of this like so much easier and so less time. Like you're gonna save time, and time is money, guys. Okay, so let me read some of these messages really quick. People who know the problem are making bank with these AI apps. Yes, ma'am, 100% without a doubt. Mine also automatically sends an email to my TC of active transactions and lets her know who to follow up on. She replies to the email. Claude reads and updates. Sam, man, we might have to get you on here one day and talk about this setup. Projects help to not have to start from scratch all the time. Exactly. What's up, Joseph? Talk to us real quick, brother.
I just saw all the different AIs. The only AI I know was ChatGPT, and I'm trying to figure that one out. I've got a program in that right now, and I'm not getting anywhere with it. So
yeah. Okay. So what exactly, real quick, guys, I apologize. What exactly are you trying to knock out with it, Joseph?
So I want to build a veteran database
Yeah.
with lenders and veteran-owned businesses and VA loans and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to kind of get my and then get some kind of a schedule, like a 30, 60, 90-day schedule out there, like what I should be doing each month to build this thing.
All right. And what roadblock are you running into when you're trying to get it done through ChatGPT? Like what's holding you back?
I asked ChatGPT the questions, and basically it's always telling me I'm 5% done, I'm 10% done. She's never done.
Yeah. Do you have the paid version or the free version?
I'm cheap. I get the free version. I can't afford crap right now, so like I'm doing all the free stuff.
No, I definitely understand. All right, so I think, especially with using the free version, we're gonna have to get really granular. You're gonna have to do a little bit more of the heavy lifting for ChatGPT. So first and foremost, where do you want this database to be? Do you want it just to be an Excel spreadsheet, or are you thinking about going full website and everything like that?
Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
I mean, just the easiest, the basic, the easiest. Just get started.
All right, 100%. So I'd have to see. I'm not familiar exactly what it does allow you and doesn't allow you to do inside of the free version. But realistically, what you would want to tell ChatGPT is you want to create an Excel spreadsheet, and you want it to basically outline the partners, names, locations, phone numbers, emails, everything like that. Really set up that Excel spreadsheet. So once it's created, you can plug and play as you're networking with these people. And then after that, it's, asking it, this is what I want to do. I want to create a referral network. Give me 30 to 60 days of ideas for content, right? And of course, it'll give you probably 30 to 60 different paragraphs or ideas, or maybe even small form scripts. The concern that I have with the free version of ChatGPT is you may run out of usage when trying to do these things. So then you're kind of separated day by day. Like you can only use it a certain amount per day, or depending on the task, you may not be able to do it until you do get a paid version of it. So what I would say, Joseph, right now, until we can kind of dive into it a little bit deeper, start with trying to get it to create you an Excel spreadsheet of what you want to see visually, so you can plug and play and you're not relying on ChatGPT to update it every single time you want to add somebody. Really, you want it to create the foundation for you, and you can build upon it yourself. And then when it comes to the social media side of things, try to get it to give you as many ideas as possible with inside your usage limits, right? Realistically, when you say you're saying you're running into an issue where it says it's 5% done, 10% done, and things like that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I feel like that might be just, excuse my language, the shitty tier. I feel like that might be the issue. I have heard that, ChatGPT and Claude as well have been changing the models they base their AI off of. And I know that's been kind of wonky and causing people issues recently. Let's see, Sandra. Yeah, sounds a little bit more about exact prompting. So I would be like very clear about what you're asking it. And then she said you can do a new project on chat and take a screenshot of last prompt and add more details if needed. Okay, that is a good point as well. If you need to add more details from the last time. What I would say is, Joseph, when you put these prompts in and it says it's 5 or 10% done, so it hasn't even given you anything. It's just stuck right there.
Yeah, it's doing stages, like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So I'm waiting for stage 1 to be complete, and it is on an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay. Let's set up a time.
Yeah, I don't want to tie everybody up here.
I'll send you my email. Send me your number. I think I might have your number already. Let's have a conversation around that so we can dive into it. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Brother. All right. So after this, guys, I wanted to talk about some actual real uses for this. Okay. Pull this over really quick. All right. So not only did I build this presentation inside of Claude, right? I got it to build, full HTML layout. I can click back and forth. I gave it the outline. I gave it what I wanted to talk about. I gave it my sources. I gave it the training videos. You don't even have to do all that, but I wanted to make sure that it had the context that I wanted to explain to you guys, right? And all I did was say, what type of style I wanted, what colors I wanted to have featured, and it came up with all of this. Not only did it come up with the slide version, but the version you guys are going to get, make sure you guys can see it all. Okay, cool. Is basically just the scrollable landing page version. So you don't got to click through everything. All you got to do is scroll, and it has everything, right? I created both of these at the exact same time from one exact prompt. Okay. And let me share. I want to share my Claude really quick with you guys. Did something else. Let's see, entire screen. Okay. All right. Put this right here. Put this right here. This right here. All right. So the first one I want to start off with is, let's say you're showing a bunch of homes today. Okay. Let's say you're showing a bunch of homes today. We're showing 4 homes. Okay. You can take the MLS sheet, of course, and you can print it out and you can give it to the homeowner, or no, sorry, the buyer. And you can say, here's more information on the property. Or you can send them an interactive link or an interactive PDF that displays this information much more visually, right? And you can have it branded toward yourself. You know, you can add certain notes in there depending on any of the properties that you feel are relevant. You can add commute times. Okay, so I want to show you what it took to make this. All right, and if anybody can't see anything or has a question, call it out because I can't see you guys right now with both of these screens up. Right, so for this one, all I said was I want to create an interactive landing page for today's showings. I want it in a card style layout, these little sections, cards. Okay, I want it bright and colorful. Make it informative. Add a commute time for each property to 1015 Arsenal. That's my office address, so I added it there. And then 1123 Chesterfield Drive, which is just a local local daycare, right? So if somebody has childcare. All right, ask questions as needed. Each property show nearby restaurants, parks, or attractions. Always show how close they are to I-95, right? So then it says, I love to build this for you. The one thing I can't proceed without is the list of properties. So one thing I forgot to do is just add the MLS sheets. So I added the MLS sheets and it says, I'm going to read through the listing PDFs and extract all the details. It's working. It's working. Guys, this right here took about 10 minutes. Okay. I was able to say, do it and then walk away. Then it had a couple questions, a few things on my end that I just didn't have right from a last project. Got that done. And then it starts doing all of the commute times. Right. Boom, 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 boom. And then it's done. Right. If I didn't have that one issue from one of my past projects when I was messing around with something, I wouldn't have had to tell it was connected to my Google Chrome. All I would have had to do was this prompt and the MLS sheets, and it gave me this right here. Okay, and let's check it out. So the Getty House, that's the name of my team. Today's showings, 4 homes, all 4 in the 580 to 590 price range. Tap a card for full details or use the directions link in the open live drive times, right? So as you're scrolling, right, you can sort them, right, by price, fastest to work, most space, newest. Okay, we'll do price. And then look at this card style view, man. And it resizes. Okay, it's HTML format. It goes into each one. It talks about the price, the address, beds, bathroom, square foot, built, how many garages. It shows the commute. Okay, even will allow you to pull it, hit this, it'll go to Google Maps, and now they can actually have the commute on their phone. Okay, nearby restaurants, parks, attractions. Okay, everyday essentials, school zones, right? You can have this so where you can click it and it goes straight to great schools, right? Let's see what you click down, full details and highlights. It gives the MLS description, gives some tags on it, right? This is a lot cooler than just handing out some MLS sheets. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm talking about like a lot cooler, to be completely honest with you. Like, and I sent this to a client before we even start going, hey, this is what we got planned today, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. All right. Another cool thing I want to show you guys. Can you share the prompt on this again? Of course. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat so you can copy and paste it. Now, obviously, in here, I did put addresses and like I-95 and stuff, so make sure you change them out to reference what you're going for. Pull it back up. All right. So really nice, clean, easy. Okay. It adds what you want in there. Guys, this is tailored to what you want. You don't have to do exactly what I just put in there. You can show it any other way you want it to show. Okay. Another cool thing I want to show is, let's talk about a landing page, guys. Okay. So going to my projects, my listing landing page. All right. And it pulls it up. This one, once again, because I didn't have my Google Chrome connected, I had a little bit prompted a little bit more to get the map set up, but look. So at the very top, I'm gonna put this prompt in there as well. I gave it a little bit more of a prompt just simply because we did have the presentation today. And I wanted to be quick and concise. I didn't want it to ask me a million questions. Obviously, it will ask you certain questions to make it really refined, especially when we're talking about a listing landing page. Answer all those questions. I just wanted to give you something you guys can see today and work off of, right? So I'm giving a presentation. I am showing use cases for Claude. I want to create a landing page for one of our listings. I gave it the Zillow link. I want the landing page to be military theme, add cool animations, add a widget to calculate commute time, add a call to action at the top, add a card for them to add contact info and to be sent to me. Modern card view style, keep it fresh, ask questions as needed, okay? And then, of course, I did end up adding, where's it at? I did end up adding the MLS sheet for details and photos, okay? So then it goes through and it works. Right, and then I'm there, configure the view so it works with the mapping just because I didn't have my Google Chrome connected like I was supposed to. And then it comes through, finally, right here. And then all you gotta do is click download and open. It downloads a file, but then it also opens this file in your browser so you can use it live, right? So this is what popped up, guys. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this one's a little bit more in depth. So this one took about 20 minutes, all right? But we're talking about a listing landing page. We're talking about like, this is a big marketing piece for your listing that you can knock out in about 20, 30 minutes, depending on how in-depth you want to get it, right? So boom, Operation Homestead. It's got the LZ down here. It's got the mission brief up here, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, modular ranch, 15 minutes to Fort Liberty, no HOA, fenced yard, new HVAC. The photos I gave it were not the best photos, so they look a little grainy, of course. But one thing that would have been super cool, especially in this target acquired area, like tell it add a map there. So like the map lines up and the dot that's glowing is on the actual, the property on the map. It'll do that. And that'd be genius. Okay. So 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, heated square footage, built 2011, you know, deploy contact takes you to the contact page at the bottom, right? View field report gives you all this information. Remember, we made it military themed. So visual recon, it'll go through all the little photos. Okay. Field report, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. The animations, guys, it just keeps it interactive. Right? Situation report, tucked away in a peaceful rural setting, yada, yada, this, that, another. And then it has some of these check boxes just to kind of highlight some of those features. It does have all of the home specs. So we're talking, you know, heating and cooling, water, sewer, subdivision, MLS number. This right here is the fun part. All right, guys. So adding this commute widget allows anybody to go in and put their commute where their job, daycare, whatever it may be, and it'll show it for them. Okay. So let's say, for example, I'm gonna put my address, Arsenal Ave, Fayetteville, and C, route it up, calculating, boom, and it's there. All right. Now let's say the attorney's office, boom. And then now look, they can go back and look at all that. 25-minute drive time, 14.5 miles. Okay. Click that, takes you to the Google Maps. Request intel, boots on the ground. We'll send your intel and we'll give you the full package, disclosures, a private walkthrough on your schedule and financing options, all new loans considered, you know, prior response for service members and veterans, you know, however you want this to be, guys. They can put their information there. And then all you got to do is say, when somebody clicks that button, send it to this email, and then boom, it'll get it right. Right. Now, obviously, there are some back-end things that can make this a lot more smoother for you guys. Give you a lot more options as well. All you got to do is just get into it. Try one thing. Create a landing page. Just say, hey, I want to create a landing page. Here's the Zillow link. Here's the MLS page, and see what it makes. Okay. If you ever have questions, never hesitate to reach out to me. Okay. Got a couple more for you guys really quick. All right. So this one is a fun one because we have so many new construction neighborhoods coming up. And of course, all these new construction neighborhoods have HOAs of varying degrees, some not strict at all, some extremely strict. Imagine being able to take those covenants, those HOA documents, basically all those, and getting a beautiful summary for your client that they can keep forever. Right? Now they don't have to read all that legal jargon when it comes time to look at the HOA. documents or the covenants or anything like that. All right. So for this one, the neighborhood's called Margot Manor. For this one, I did include the floor plan just because I want them to have all the information they possibly could, right? So not only did they include the floor plan, they analyzed the floor plan and broke down the details from it. So boom, a 2-story, 4 to 5 bedroom house by Ben Style Construction in the Margot Manor community, town of Benson, Johnston County, North Carolina. This interactive summary pulls together the home specs and key points from the HOA covenants and bylaws. All right, super simple. It has tabs, that navigation tabs that'll take you wherever you want to go if you have pertinent information you need to check there. First thing you got, home details and floor plan. The front elevation, first floor, second floor, and then it has all the dimensions. So it read the plans, guys, and it gave you the dimensions, right? Primary suite is on the main floor, strong selling point for buyers who want to avoid stairs. Upstairs holds 3 more bedrooms, plus a large media room that can be finished as a 5th bedroom, all right? Home features, we're talking interior, got the Mohawk LVP flooring throughout the first floor. I added the features list. So now you have the whole features list for the property. If they have any questions of what is this material or what was this or how was this installed, right here. Okay. Train energy efficient HVAC, 50-gallon energy efficient water heater, maintenance free low E single hung vinyl windows with tilt sashes and screens. Okay. Then the HOA at a glance. So the annual HOA dues, the capital contribution, and then it even shows the association's liability coverage, which is great. It does have the management contact, which can sometimes be the hardest information to find in the world. Okay. Concerns and benefits. Read this closely. This is where they're really going to be looking at. You can even sort it by concerns and benefits. Right? Developer controls the HOA until the community is fully sold out. And then you click it and boom, it gives you a reason why this is an actual concern. Okay. Unpaid dues can lead to an 18% interest, liens, and foreclosure. Guys, that's crazy because I'm going to be honest with you. Homeowners will skip past that information so quickly and then realize when it's too late that this stuff is starting to pile on them. HOA dues can rise with no cap. Owners can barely block a budget. Even has where the source is inside that declaration. Okay. And then benefits. Firm 45-day architectural review deadline. Must respond within 45 days. If it doesn't reject in time, they're deemed approved, right? No cap on rentals. Expansion potential built in. And then even down here, topic by topic, fees and assessments. Annual dues are set by the board's budget. There is no percentage cap on regular increases, and the owner veto is very high, right? Developer control, leasing rentals, architectural review, maintenance and insurance, vehicles, pet and everyday rules, right? Questions to ask and documents to request. They threw this part in. I didn't even see it went down this long, right? So just things that the buyer can be aware of. Okay, this is adding crazy amounts of value. And imagine this right here took about 5-6 minutes. Man, I sent this to them on one of 5 homes we're seeing today. If you want to go all out like that, imagine how much value that shows. That they gave me this whole report, man. Anything I could ever need to know about this property, it was just landed in my fingertips. At the bottom, it does give you a little disclaimer. This is a plain language overview prepared from the document provided to help a buyer understand the property and the community. It's not legal advice and not a substitute for reading the full recorded documents, okay, or consulting a North Carolina real estate attorney. This is crazy, especially with the HOAs and stuff, because it has so much legal jargon, guys. You know, it's sometimes hard to understand it. And when you have so much legal jargon, it's hard to not act as a quote unquote lawyer when trying to advise somebody on it. Okay, a couple more and I'm gonna let you guys get out of here. All right. This one is fun. Let's say you are horrible at procrastination. Let's say, you know, you have a long task list of things that you know you need to get done, but it's almost crippling when we're talking about getting them done. Okay. I basically created a gamified task list. Okay. So basically I told it I'm horrible at procrastination, right? I want to be able to input tasks and I want to be able to have it like a Tamagotchi. Okay. If I have tasks that are due, I want my Tamagotchi to be dying. And if I complete these tasks and I get them done quickly, I want to give this Tamagotchi life. I want it to be, you know, happy, fed, right? I'm gamifying the tasks, so it makes it a little bit less of an overload and paralysis by analysis, right? You know, it makes it a little bit more fun when you're knocking out some of these tasks. So let's look at what that is right now, okay? So I created this fun little thing called Ember, okay? Tasks that keep something alive. I told it I want a motivational quote at the top all the time, right? And it has like a pool of like 100 motivational quotes. You may delay, but time will not, by Benjamin Franklin, okay? I wanted to be able to see my tasks in a list view and an Eisenhower view, right? Do first, schedule, delegate, eliminate. Kanban, if you're more into card views. And then last but not least, our dragon. He's dying. He can barely lift his head. We need to finish something, anything, right? Happy or health. You get 10 per task completed, right? -6 for every day you finish nothing. Happiness, speed is everything. If you're early, its happiness goes up. If you're late, it goes down. Right? Just fun stuff, man. Because it doesn't always have to be so rigid and so like business, right? Maybe you just need a tool that's helping you in your day-to-day. It can do this as well, guys, right? I did not have to be a mad scientist to create this. I just told it what I wanted. Okay, so let's look at this really quick. Let's add some tasks. Call people, call mom, call broker in charge. All right, let's say feed dogs. Go for a run. All right, so now you can always put a date, right? You can say if it's urgent, important. Let's say like I'm having a really bad day, guys. I cannot focus at all. I give it a focus now button. Now, basically, it shuts down. It shuts down the whole computer or your phone because, mind you, guys, if you create something with Claude and it's HTML format, you can save it on your phone as a icon app. Basically, you click it and it just pulls up the website. Okay, you can do it on Apple or Samsung, right? So now I have this little to-do task game on my homepage, and I use it regularly. Okay, so let's say I have procrastination. I basically froze my whole phone for 25 minutes. It has the whole countdown. So after 25 minutes, I fed my dogs or whatever it may be. Now I can get back access to my phone or my computer. All right, so let's say we knock these out. Well, how's our dragon doing? Oh, he's happy now. I didn't have to create. I didn't have to draw. I didn't have to do anything crazy with this. I just had to ask for it. I literally asked for, I want a 8-bit dragon pet. And when I complete tasks, it raises in health and in mood. If I do not create, or if I do not complete tasks, it withers and dies. Simple as that, guys. And then let's see really quick. Call. Finish a couple more. You know, and now he's on top of the world. He's spitting fire. I didn't have to do that, guys. Claude did that. All right. So I know I took us over a little bit. I want to answer a few questions for anybody that has them. I just really wanted to go into a couple of use cases, you know, obviously some business related ones, and then some that might help you personally. I know a lot of these things, you may be thinking, well, dang, Caleb, I know you're saying this. I saw you type it, or I see that you did type it, but like, how can I implement this? First thing I'd say, ask, hey, I want to do this. What is the easiest way to get it done through Claude? And it will give you step-by-step. Tell it, I need you to break it down step-by-step. I have no experience in this. And it will do just that. It'll tell you everything you need to do, okay? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, all right? I'm gonna leave my email and my phone number in the chat so you can reach out to me. And we can go over it, guys, because at this point, man, it is so easy to have very professional looking marketing, brand tools, listing, landing pages, the whole nine, okay? I apologize if I say your name wrong. This app that we've been talking about is Claude, okay? It's very similar to ChatGPT, especially in pricing, all right? I definitely check it out. When I put the link to our presentation in the YouTube, all right, click it, and at the very end, there's actually training modules that could get you caught up on how to use Claude with all of those programs, really. I thought Bright prohibits the MLS sheets to be uploaded into AI apps. You're gonna have to check with your local MLS on each one. I don't personally have Bright, but there are ways to circumvent that, to be completely honest with you. You could just have the MLS sheet. You could, if it's a PDF, you hover all of it, or you select all of it, copy, paste. It's not gonna be in the beautiful format that was on that PDF, but you're putting it into AI, and it'll be able to parse that information and get it done. So I'm saying there's other ways to do it. I took the easiest way. In my MLS, we are allowed to upload the MLS docs. All right. Did you create a specific project for that? Sam, yes. So if you go here, projects, you know, listing landing pages, Ember is the name of that to-do thing that I told you guys about. So at the beginning, I want to create a to-do app that allows me to overcome my procrastination. I'm horrible at procrastinating. I want a to-do that allows me to input my to-dos, rank them by priority and date. I want this to be modern textile theme with fonts and colors to match. You know, I just told it what I wanted, right? I have a little bit more knowledge of what I was seeking. So obviously it gave me a quicker result. But guys, these results are available to all of you guys, all of you, okay? But yes, I did use it in its own specific project. It's just easier to categorize the things like that, especially when you're doing a bunch of different landing pages. Yes, especially when you're doing a bunch of different marketing kits. Definitely easier that way. Let's see. How do you save the HTML as an app on your phone? That sounds great. Okay. Sam, that's a little bit of a longer answer. I'll reach out to you. All right. Text me if you can. My number is in the chat and we'll go over that. Okay. Sandra, how do you get out of here? Alicia, how will you share your presentation info? It will be uploaded to our YouTube tomorrow, and then we will be posting it inside of our military network. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, we post it there as well. And then if you just, let me go ahead and throw it in here, the YouTube itself. Let's see really quick. It's basically just the EXP MailerNet network, YouTube. Okay. Now. All right. Jessica said she didn't know there was a WhatsApp group. So we just recently posted in the Facebook group about the WhatsApp group. Let me see if I can send you the info here. I'm glad that you mentioned that. We want everybody in there, guys. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is, guys, I'm going to tell them to, I'm going to get Michelle and them to post in the group again, because it looks like I need some type of permission to be able to invite people. But I did post my phone number in the chat. Do it. If you could shoot me a text message, I can make sure that you definitely get in there ASAP. Okay. See. But other than that, guys, you know, the biggest thing I want to kind of impress upon you is just get out there and try the things. You know, so many people are using AI nowadays. Like, I don't think AI is going to take anybody's job, but it is going to make your job a whole lot easier. Okay. Especially as you get more involved, you start to see what its capabilities are. And if anything, eliminate a lot of the needless back end things that just take up so much of your time, right? Time is money. We need to be out there making relationships, talking to people, transacting. So I feel like AI is a massive opportunity in being able to streamline a lot of the back end, making, you know, a lot of these smaller teams or these solo agent teams, you know, a lot more proficient, you know, a lot more efficient. Okay. So try it out. If you ever have any questions, ask them. Okay. If it's a very secular question, or if it's like how to do something specifically, we can create a mastermind around it. We can have a whole nother session talking about it. Okay. Another thing I want to mention, guys, if you or you know anybody that wants to speak at these masterminds, guys, we would love to have you. Next week, we got an amazing mastermind on insurance. Okay. And then we got my guy, Jake, with EXP Land and Ranch. He's going to be coming in. He's going to be talking about how to get involved in land sales. If you're an agent that's interested in land or been trying to get into land, we got a couple more. Michelle, our director, she's going to be coming in. She's going to be talking about, you know, basically how to lead a faceless business. She operates in 2 different locations due to being a military spouse. So it's just like, if you have something you're passionate about, or you feel like your business is very unique in a certain way, let's talk about it, guys. 100% let's talk about it. We're working on getting panels of several agents to talk about their business and how they help our military communities. So if you're ever interested in doing any of that, let us know. We do have a session coming right up on EXPCon. Okay, EXPCon is right around the corner, guys. We're heading out to Salt Lake City. I hope to see all of y'all there. All right. But until next week, next Tuesday, all right, let me know if you need anything at all. Okay, my number and my email is in the chat. And like I said, this will be uploaded tomorrow. But until then, guys, y'all have a blessed one.